I feel like we're moving past this notion that marketing is for everyone, because that's not true. Everyone has different needs. They're at different stages of the funnel, and you need to adapt to that. And so we want to use personalization to really help us segment the right people for the right needs.
Welcome. This is the Octane AI weekly show, which is now called Zero Heroes, because we are talking to people who are leveraging zero-party data, which is the most amazing data and the highest intent data that you could collect from a potential customer or a customer. That's data that you get through a quiz by asking somebody a direct question. What are their preferences? What are their concerns? What is their budget? Like whatever you want to know that's inside your customer's head, when you ask them a question, they actually give you that answer. That's called zero-party data. And there's a lot of different ways that people are finding to leverage this type of data, whether it's personalizing email flows, changing how text messages work, coming up with new products that you didn't know that the audience you're reaching would probably buy. And if you offered them, it could have a huge impact on your business. And today, Jason is going to be talking about his approach to zero-party data and how he leverages Octane AI and his Octane AI quiz to kind of supercharge growth for his business. So Jason, I'm sure everybody here already knows who you are, but maybe a quick intro, and then let's jump into it. Everybody watching, feel free to just like throw out comments in the chat and we'll get to them in real time or at the end.
Great, thanks. My name is Jason Wong, and I've been in the e-commerce space since I was 16. So it's been about like 8-9 years now. Over the years, I would say it's been a very difficult grind. I've seen the evolution of Facebook ads. I've seen the evolution of pop-up forms and collecting emails. And I think 2 years ago, I came in contact with Ben because I was using Octane already. And they're like, hey, we have this new thing we're coming out. And I think I like to say I was like the first 5 customers you guys had. And that was the first case study you guys made. And that case study helped, I think, set the standards for how quizzes should be made and used. So hopefully that's right. I'm kind of proud of that one. My portfolio now consists of a number of beauty brands, food and beverage brands, and some stuff in the health and wellness industry. I've also advised for a lot of tech providers in the space as well. But I've always been a big champion of Octane, in particular because our product, frankly speaking, is on the lower price side. Our AOV is about $62. And so there's not a lot of room for us to compete on and pay. And so when that happened, we were like, let's double down on quiz. The idea is that instead of trying to compete with people to send traffic to landing pages or to the product page, let's try to lower our cost for acquisition and get people to a top of the funnel approach, and try to send people to the quiz, try to remarket them through emails and acquire customers that way. So that's why I love Octane. That's why I love, chatting with Matt and the team here. I think I've been to like a few of these already. But Matt, I actually, the slide I made was more of like a visual reference. I was really hoping that we can have a conversation to like bounce back and forth. Frankly speaking, it's not like a full-on presentation. It's like pictures, videos of what we're doing. And I didn't really have like a flow going on. So would love to invite you back on and get started. I know there's like a number of questions you guys have together, and I'm more than happy to answer them.
Totally. Yeah, I think maybe a good place to start is like just walk everybody through like what does your quiz do? What is the purpose of the quiz? And then how are you leveraging it with your ads? And then I think if you kind of lay that out as like the ground floor, let's go, then we can kind of go into the back and forth conversation, and it'll probably prompt everybody in the audience to have lots of questions.
Sick. All right, so let me walk everyone through the quiz first. Can you guys see? You guys can see it, right?
Yep.
All right, great. So our quiz is nested on our site. You can see it whenever you go visit. And this is the page that you'll see when you first click onto it. You're going to notice that there is 2 buttons here. One of them is an Octane quiz. The other one is a hybrid of an Octane quiz. We built a text solution on top of the Octane quiz, which uses a camera technology to measure your face in order to give you the recommendations, but also it will skip a lot of questions that we typically ask, things like your eye shape, your eye type, your, what else? Anything that is more appearance-based that we can actually make a judgment of, we can find it through the picture. So something along these lines, we're able to see your what type of eyes you have, the slope of your eyes, the gap between your eyes, the height of your eyes, and all of that will feed into this quiz within Octane to give you a recommendation. So that's our first personalization tech that we built. And then here's like our regular quiz. It's actually just 6 questions, things like, how long your natural lashes, what kind of looks do you prefer? This one is just like a fun thing. This does not affect your choice or your recommendation at all. It's just something that we toss out here. When do you wear falsies, and what best describes your eye shape? And then we give you a recommendation here. So that's really like the quiz flow. The key here is to help people understand really what is the right fit for them. Beauty in general is a very personalized and intimate type of category. It's very, very much not all one size fits all. Everyone has the right product that fits their skin tones, their face shape, their preferences. And really the quiz is meant to be like a store associate. When you walk into Sephora, this is the person that comes up to you and be like, how can I help you? What are you looking for? Well, if you're looking for lashes, let me ask you some questions to figure out what's the right recommendation for you. And this is supposed to be a completely non-biased type of quiz. I would say in store associates, there is a little bit of a bias for pushing particular products, whereas our quiz is completely logic-based, meaning that we will only recommend you things that we think actually works for you based on the data that you gave us. And that's really the main point here. The second thing is this type of quiz also gives us a lot of data for our product development processes. So if we're seeing a substantial amount of people who are telling us that they prefer more subtle looks, then that will dictate our next collection is probably going to be more subtle focused, and then vice versa. If we're seeing a lot of people giving us a particular answers that dictate the designs or dictate the marketing or how we want to write the copy for it, we get all this data from the quiz. So there's a lot of byproducts of this quiz, I would say, besides just giving a product recommendation. And then I would say another objective is obviously lead gen. Our quizzes collect about 3 times more emails than our traditional pop-ups. And that's been a consistent numbers for the past 2 years. I don't think that has changed at all.
What percentage of your overall like new contact info do you think comes from your quizzes?
Oh man, I don't have like the exact number off the top of my head, but I know it's pretty high up there. Just because we collect so much emails through our quiz. Our pop-up on our site, I think gets like maybe like 2-3% conversion rate, pretty substandard or around the benchmark. And we're getting 3 times that on Octane, just because sometimes people just don't want to give you their emails immediately. You want them to spend a little bit of time on your site, be familiar with what you're selling, maybe give you some of the information to get a better recommendation, and then they'll give you their email because they trust you at this point. And so the intent of the people and the quality of the emails is just, I think, a lot higher here.
Yeah, I think that quizzes, like we've been working to make them as easy to make as possible. And, previously you would have had to use something like a type form, which you could use a type form. It's a great product, but it's like, doesn't look very good. Can't integrate with your products. Like there's a lot of different downsides. You can't track revenue, like a lot of problems. If you really want to have like a good solution for a Shopify store, why you would use Octane AI. And I think the other solution that you might have done is like previously is hire an agency and been like, hey, like here, custom develop me a whole quiz, build it from scratch, but then it doesn't kind of like work with your integrations. And so I think so far we've been able to make it where you don't have to use Typeform. You can avoid using a development agency. You can go in and build a quiz and have lots of control over design and logic, and you can make it look really good, and it tracks revenue and it tracks stats and it does all these different things. But we for sure have to there's a lot of things we keep working on to make it even easier. Like templates is something we're going to be coming out with really soon, so somebody can get up and running really quickly. We're looking into different ways to add AI to help with product recommendations so that it can automatically look at all the past data that your quiz has collected, and then also all the purchases those people made, so that we can actually use machine learning and AI to predict what people are really likely to purchase. And I think that also will help speed up quiz creation. So quiz creation, like the time to make a quiz. That's something that at Octane on our team, we're like hyper focused on, is like, how can we make that as easy as possible? And one of our predictions, but I'm interested to know what you think, is that a quiz, like you said, with Octane kind of replicates someone who works inside of a store who would talk to a customer. And I think right now, if you're going to make a quiz for your store, it's likely a quiz that is for someone who just got there, like they just walked into your store. And the goal of this quiz is like to get to know them and then be like, this is the right product for you. But in a physical store, there's lots of different conversations that the person working at the store might have with the customer, depending on if it's a first time customer, what product they're looking at, and maybe they're a VIP customer, they've come back a lot. And our prediction is that the easier it is to make a quiz, the more likely it is that brands will move beyond just having that like one use case of like when someone first gets to the store, and they'll move on to creating automated conversations with different types of recommendations for lots of different types of scenarios and use cases. So I'm curious, like, does that kind of resonate with you? Do you think that if making a quiz was like almost like instantaneous and really easy to do and you didn't have to think about it, do you think that for Doe you'd make more quizzes? And if so, like what quizzes do you think you'd start to think about making, or what conversations would you want to replicate?
Right. Absolutely. Frankly speaking, our quiz, it wasn't like you can get it done in 20 minutes. There's a lot of logic based intent, and for good reasons. We want to be very in depth, and it's very difficult to make what we did into just a simple template in a very short amount of time. I know you guys are working on that, but I didn't expect that out of the gate. But I would say, like, if we're able to replicate this process and create quizzes a lot faster, we are able to make them based on scenarios. So let's just say a guy walks into Sephora and he's like, I'm buying something for my little sister. He's not going to know a lot about her, but there's a lot of things that he could know about her that we would be able to infer and create a recommendation for him. So that's another quiz for him, like a gift, not buying it for yourself, because everything that we're asking here, and even the camera, it's very much based on you answering for who you are. And that will give us another subset of audience if we're able to create a quiz based on that. It's like people who are gifters, right? And then that also will mean that downstream, our content marketing strategy will also change. Right now with Octane AI, based on the answers that they give, we also change our content for them. If you tell us that you're monolids, we're gonna give you some tips for how to make monolid lashes look better. How do you trim lashes for monolids? How do you place them for monolids? If you're telling us that you don't really go out that often, we'll send you some self-care tips for how to have fun by yourself at home. Like it really comes downstream. Everything top of the funnel right now always has to go down, right? And it's really up to you for how complicated you want to make it, or how in depth you want to make it. But by being able to create multiple quizzes, we're able to create multiple scenarios, and downstreams our content will also change. So big fan of the idea if we're able to do that. It's been one of my most requested things for sure. Since last year, it's like, man, I wish you can just make a bunch of these. Like, imagine if you can go into the quiz page and instead of saying start quiz, we can ask you something like, are you here to buy it for someone else? I'm buying it for myself. I've never bought lashes before, but I'm really curious. Or I've bought lashes before, I've never tried you before. Based on that, the conversation changes a lot. And we want to make the quiz to emulate that in-store experience.
Yeah, I agree. I think like the quiz right now creates like a dynamic experience for someone who just got to the store, and it's a very friendly kind of opener. Like, hey, instead of giving you this cold start and having you wander around by yourself, like, let's actually get to know you, let's recommend you products, and then let's utilize whatever kind of information we get from that relationship building quiz to personalize the emails we send you, right? We're going to send you related content based on your eyes or your activities, so that you feel like we really know you, because we actually really do. I think down the road, what we're kind of imagining where this goes is that shopping online, generally feels like a very static experience. The website, everybody sees the exact same website, but over time, it should be able to get to know you more than just this first quiz. And it should be able to have lots of different conversations with you, similar to like, if you think about a really well put together email automation or SMS automation strategy, it's going to send you different content based on where you are in the customer journey. and the information that it's tracked, and that kind of changes over time. And so we think it also makes sense that the conversations that the website through a quiz would have with you would also change over time. Maybe you have a quiz that isn't about recommending the right product, but if you're looking at a specific product, there's a quiz you can take that figures out if that specific product, is right for you. If you maybe come back to the website, you'd also recently purchased something, and now there's a quiz that's asking you, how did you like that product? Was it good? Did you like it? Maybe it prompts you to leave a review. And all of this can be kind of like dynamically changing based on who you are and where you are in the customer journey.
Absolutely.
Okay, another question. So right now, there's like a lot of benefits to having a quiz. One of them, like you mentioned, is you're getting 3x more conversions when someone takes a quiz on contact information than your normal pop-up. You're also getting all this other incredible data about these people, right? What kind of eyes they have, like what their hobbies are, like all sorts of different things. And the intelligent thing to do, if they don't complete a purchase, which you do a great job at this, is to say, okay, now we know what kind of eye you have. We know what your hobbies are. Instead of sending every single person on our email list the exact same emails and treating everybody as if they're the exact same person, you're going to start doing almost like personalized targeting within your own marketing, where you're going to send different content to different people. How do you what are some, I know you mentioned like the monolids as an example, but like, how do you think about that? Is there like, what does that currently look like in your email and SMS flow? Is there like a dream of like where that could kind of end up?
In terms of like what we do with the answers?
Yeah, what you do with the answers, like posts, because in the beginning, the quiz recommends a product based on the answers, but if someone doesn't purchase, what's like the high level feeling of what happens after that for that customer?
It comes down to like the usual reasons for cart abandonment. Sometimes they're just not ready. Some people are more price conscious. Some people don't know if they're for sure that this is the right recommendation. So we'll go back and we'll revisit it and say, hey, you took the quiz before. This is what we recommended to you. But if this is not the right move, I think the second option is also really good for you. So we'll do like a follow-up through email. And there's like second options based on the same answers that they gave us. There's usually like top one for the logic flow, but then there's also second and third places. And the thing about beauty is that sometimes it can be subjective, even though logically, if you want to go very sciencey about it, there is a particular shade that just works perfectly well for you. There is a particular type of lash style that just accentuates your eyes and makes them look brighter and nicer. But some people just don't see it like that. and so you want to give them the second and third option. And I would say, like, if there is a flaw with logic flows like this, it's in beauty, because beauty is so subjective. If you're talking about a car part, yeah, there's like one particular part that's just absolute perfect to maximize the speed of your car, and people will go for that. But for beauty, it's so subjective because it's so personal, right? And so we like to follow up through downstream marketing, retention, SMS, to try to bring them back and say, hey, look, I know that first one might have not caught your eyes. We like to assume that it's because it wasn't a right fit, not because they got distracted or not because they were price conscious. You don't want to resort to those things because it's a downward spiral. We go for, maybe it wasn't the right recommendation. Let's pick you another one. This is what we think will look nice. And here's some of the styles, the makeup styles, the UGCs of people wearing this particular product that also has your eye shape and eye type, just to give you some like aspiration, right? That's really how we use the content. At the end of the day, the key to personalization is to make sure that we are giving our customers the right communication at the right time in the right place, and only relevant information to them. I feel like we're moving past this notion that marketing is for everyone, because that's not true. Everyone has different needs. They're at different stages of the funnel, and you need to adapt to that. And so we want to use personalization to really help us segment the right people for the right things.
So how does this play into your ad strategy? Are you sending ads directly to a quiz? Are you sending it to a listicle that goes to a quiz?
Yeah.
How does the quiz play with the ads?
Let's get into it. All right, so I prepared three things for you. So we have our Facebook ads, and I'll click play on them. We also have our TikTok posts. We don't run TikTok ads for it yet, but organically these do very well. And then we also have advertorials that we sent to. So instead of sending people directly to our quiz, we've also tested sending to advertorials. And within the advertorial, there's a CTA saying, take the quiz to find your perfect lash. So All right, bear with me because I've never done videos on a presentation before, even when I speak in person. So I'm not sure if the sound will go through. It might not, but I can just, narrate. All right, so for this is just a simple video trying to show you our new camera-based quiz. So it shows you the motion of how everything works because this is a very foreign concept. I don't think any other lash brand has this right now. We're the first to do it because this is a tech that we built out. We've now seen other brands use it too, but this is just a video, simple walkthrough of the product saying how to actually pick the right lashes, where we're trying to angle this to tell people that, hey, maybe you're picking the wrong lashes and maybe you're not liking your lashes because you picked the wrong one. And here's how you can actually pick it with our new camera quiz technology. This one is an animation that we ran. I think this is the first ad that we ever ran with Octane, and we ran it for like a year and a half because it just works so well consistently. um Sometimes this ad actually outperforms our evergreen or our promote ads just because I don't know why people just resonate with this so much. But simple animation of what the quiz flow looks like. um this is not what our quiz actually looks like, but we animated it to show people the actual flow. And then lastly, there is a UGC of, take our 30-second quiz to find the best lash style for your eye type. I feel like the time is a very important thing because people are a little scared of committing too much to something that breaks off their flow. So if you don't tell them what to expect in terms of time commitment wise, they might not go through with it. So you can say something like 5-step quiz to find the perfect product for you, or take this X amount of second quiz to find the right product for you. And that generally gets a lot better click-through rate. So this is a mashup, UGC mashup that we ran also for a while. And that's what we did for our Facebook ads. And then we will send them to the Avatorial and also to our quiz page. In terms of like results wise, they're both doing pretty well. We haven't dived too deep into it to see like which one produced better AOV, which one has better retention. Truthfully, didn't really get that deep into it, but they're both performing very, very well for us. So Avatorial and going straight to our quiz page. But now let's look at TikTok. I'm hoping the TikTok one will have sounds, but bear with me.
Do you ever have trouble trying to figure out what style of lashes would look best on you? Well,
before I go on, can you guys hear me? Type yes on chat because I can't see anyone's screen.
Yeah, I can hear it.
You hear? All right, great.
Wonderful. Now all you have to do is take a selfie and let our camera quiz do its magic. Using your selfie, the quiz determines your eye shape and measurements to recommend the best style of lashes for you. I prefer a glam lash, and it paired me with Starry Night. I absolutely love how fluffy these lashes are. They look so flattering on my eyes and give me the perfect fluttery look. Talk about a perfect match.
So this one's a product demo type of post that very well to demonstrate a new technology. Whenever you introduce something so foreign to your consumer, you want to make sure that you give us much information on the step-by-step process for it. Consumers are typically not tech savvy, for very good reasons. They shouldn't be. And so you want to walk them through, handhold them through the entire process and show them what the results are. And that's what we did on this video. This one, let's take a look.
Ever wonder what your perfect lashes are? Now you can. Doe just launched a new lash quiz that could tell you your perfect lash styles by simply taking a picture. It's super helpful and tells you a lot of information about your eyes. It'll tell you your eye shape, eye measurements, everything. Super amazing. Also asks about basic lash information. Email you your absolutely perfect.
So this one's quite similar to the first one, but we started testing these with different creators recommending it. The idea is that when a brand recommends a tool, people are like, okay, cool. It's it's a brand talking about themselves. But if you get enough creators to talk about a tool that your brand is using, then that might spark some interest from people who are, not really believer from brands. Some people are just a little apprehensive towards buying anything into a brand promotions or what brand promotes. So we get a bunch of creators to test the same angle, same narrative, same angle, same demo, and let them do it. And then let's take a look at this one.
If you wear lashes, do this to make them look more natural. Heavy lashes make your eyes look droopy, so I'm using Doe, which uses ultra-fine silk fibers that make it feel like there's nothing on your eyes. First, curl your natural lashes. Next, take your strip lashes, check how they fit, and trim them as needed. Cut your lashes into 3 sections. Then glue and apply them under your natural lashes, above your upper waterline. Finally, curl everything together. Look how natural they look. Finding the right lash style is also important. Just take our 40-second quiz on our website to find the perfect style for you.
So you see, like, we're doing the product demos, but we're also integrating the quiz into a typical tip, because that first video, there's the third video on the TikTok one, the hook wasn't about the quiz. The middle section wasn't about a quiz, but it's like, here's a hack that I think you'll love. And if you want to find an even better fit for you, because this hack is doing so well for you, here's a quiz to find the lash for you to use. And so we're doing the full product demos, we're doing the integrations, and they're all working very well for us. There's not one that I would say skyrocket our page views or whatnot, but I would say this is something that you have to drill in time and time again. You can't just promote a quiz once and expect people to know about it, because, well, chances are a lot of people don't see that post. And so if you're able to naturally integrate the conversation of a quiz in the caption, literally post anything that you usually post and be like, hey, if you want to find the right thing, there's a quiz on our site that you can take, find the right results in 30 seconds. Shorten that, of course. But just keep hammering that in. You want to constantly bring the idea of a quiz up to the top of mind for consumers, because people forget easily. They get distracted. They're not going to follow through the first time. And just like how you market a product, I think of the tools that we use for acquisitions like products. You constantly need to have evergreen campaigns for them if you really want it to be effective. You can't just set it and forget it and expect people to use it.
Yeah, those ads are awesome. Thank you for sharing, because it's really, for me, it's really interesting to see all the different examples of how you're kind of incorporating the quiz into the ads. And I'm sure for everybody else watching, that's like, they're like, oh yeah, okay, this is how I can make my ad look. So it's really great to be able to see what they actually look like. Yeah, I feel like when I'm watching those ads, like one part of what you're kind of marketing is the product and how people feel, but the other part that you're marketing is kind of like a differentiated customer experience, which is what the quiz is. You're like, hey, we're not just about providing a high quality lash product for you. What you're also really heavily marketing is, we really are here to empathize with you. We really care about making sure that you don't just buy something. We really want to make sure that you buy something that you're really going to like. It's really like personalized to you. So that kind of really stood out to me watching those ads, is that you're kind of using the quiz as like a brand differentiator, right? You're like, hey, we're not normal. We're like not the same as everybody else. Like we care a lot more. And this is the type of experience that you can expect from us. And then you're also kind of using the quiz as like it's like a curiosity hook, right? It's like no longer are people just going to click the ad because they're going to go buy the product immediately. Now they're like, like which one is it going to tell me? Like, who does it think that I am? And I feel like everybody has this like innate curiosity when like poised with like a kind of like a question like that. And so I imagine, that's why you get people clicking through on that.
There's actually two things that come out of that. Is number one, absolutely on the brand differentiated part, we're in a very saturated market. There's no doubt about it. You can go on any website, buy lashes, white label, and put your name on it and start a lash brand. There's no doubt about it. And we recognize that too. And so instead of trying to compete with everyone else and be like, we're just another lash brand, we make very soft and all these stuff, which is something that anyone can say. We went the other direction, because like I said back then, we just cannot compete with everyone else on paid ads, because there's 2,000 some other lash brand actively running ads saying, hey, our lashes are the number one, we're the best ones here. It's very hard to differentiate yourself on a product basis, right? And so we went a step further and say, hey, let's reimagine the experience. Let's try to say, instead of you just buying a product from us, we're gonna help you find the best product. And so you add on that extra layer of a selling point, and that's what makes you a lot more attractive to consumer. And this is a very important thing to remember if you're selling something that's a little bit more common, because you can think about like water. Everyone's selling water. Some just have different flavors, but it's very hard to visualize that. So why don't you make it a step further, right? For our product in particular, we want it to be memorable. So we have really sick packaging, in my opinion. But at the same time, we want to make sure that we're not just pretty. We want to be, it's right. And so by creating this personalized experience, we find that we're having less return rates. because people are finding the actual right product for them. It's very difficult for you to visualize how this product will look on you when you're just buying something because it's 2D, right? So by transferring this into a quiz, we increase the confidence of someone picking the right products for them, but also scientifically, we are recommending something that works well for you. And so the likelihood of someone buying it and hating it is a lot lower. I don't have the exact numbers for you, but I can see like from our quiz takers versus non-quiz takers, the return rate, there's a big difference. And it's really because of that simple reason. We're replacing the confused, I don't know what to buy, to a quiz that acts kind of like a store associate to help you.
Yeah, I feel like the goal of it is like a confidence builder. It's you're not needing to pick out the product. Like we are going to talk to you, get to know you, and then tell you what makes sense based off of that. So you can purchase more confidently and you can not return, as well more confidently because you're happier with it. Are you like how hard are you leaning into kind of quiz ads right now? I'm sure there's like all sorts of different types of ads that you run on both, Facebook and TikTok. How heavily are you like leaning into quiz ads right now? What's your kind of like roadmap for that?
At this current moment, candidly, we're not running any active ads on TikTok for the quiz just because we just switched to a new agency. So it's not that we don't want to, it's just we just switched to a new agency literally yesterday. And so everything kind of went back to the drawing board. We are trying to work our quiz back into the top of funnel strategy for our ads. But TikTok is such a black box still, unfortunately. So we're trying to conserve budget to what's working, and there is an ad that's working really well, and all the budget just went towards it. When things open up a little bit, there's no doubt that I want to invest a little bit more into TikTok ads. I know the folks over at Jones Row are doing an incredible job at sending traffic to their quiz and making a lot of money from it. And, it's definitely an inspiration for us, but we're also like a fraction of their size. So we do have to be a little bit more conscious of where we spend our money.
Got it. And then, a question that maybe people are wondering, where do you get the influencer videos? Like if people watching want to have people make videos talking about their quiz, what's like a good recommendation for how someone could go do that?
Truthfully, we go straight to the influencers. Probably wasn't the answer people expected. Like I have like a magic tool, but no, we manually select the right creators. The thing is that creator selection is so crucial because not everyone is good on camera. Some people are great at taking pictures, but they're not good video people. Some people are great at product recommendations, but they're not really good at telling stories. Because product recommendations, you can kind of cut it up and script it, but stories, you kind of have that, you need that storytelling capability. And so we go out and vet these creators. We look at their stories, we look at their past work, and we're like, okay, this is the work that they've done before. Can we switch out whatever they're talking about with our product and would it sound nice? And if that's the case, then we go for it. There was a time when we're going for volume. So we're like, just shoot 100 PR boxes out and see whatever sticks. But now we're sending like a fraction of that just because we're being a lot more intentional with who we position our brand with and who we think is a good voice for us.
Anybody watching, if you have any questions for Jason about Octane, the quiz, ads, influencer marketing, whatever questions you have, feel free to throw those in the chat. Lisi asks, are you also paying customers to submit UGC?
Yeah, we started using this new tool called Bounty. So if you use if you go on our website right now and you go into any product pages, there's a thing that says post on TikTok, get paid. And the idea is to replicate the experience of AdSense for creators. So if you make a video for us, you get paid based on the amount of views that you get on a CPM model. And the reason why this works way better than an affiliate program is because a lot of customers who post about you never get paid. If you buy a pair, like a pair of pants that you love and you post about it, or a pair of shoes, you generally don't get rewarded for it, even though you do bring net new impressions to the brand and probably bring on another customers for the brand. but you'll never get paid for it because you're not a creator, you're not an influencer, you're not on contract. And so this program allows us to pay people based on impressions. And because of the way that TikTok works, even if you have 200 followers with the right videos and sometimes the right timing, you can get thousands of views. So we're now having customers who spent maybe $18 on their order, makes a video, they have 200 followers, and they make like $250 from that post. You will never be able to make 250 unless you're a creator, and less so with 200 followers. And so we're getting those UGCs, and now we're turning them into TikTok ads.
Yeah, that's awesome. I love that because people then earn back and more what they just spent on your site. So like the quiz, it gives people one more reason to kind of like shop with you. Sam asks, question, after you've collected quiz data, are you then taking that data and using it elsewhere within your business?
Yeah, absolutely. So beauty with Octane is that the data syncs into your Klaviyo. So you can create Klaviyo audience lists, you can create different segmentations and built into automations within that. And then you can also sync that into Facebook. And those are the two places that we do use the Octane data for. And oh, Matt, I actually want to jump in here because there's one thing that I put on my deck that I want to show you guys. So we took a look at the number of questions that we're asking people and in the sequence that we asked them. And we found that in the original quiz that we had, the drop-off rate for the first question was very high, and the average answer time was also very high. So we're like, what if we took a question that had a much shorter average answer time and put it in the first question? Would that reduce the drop-off rate? And the answer was yes. We found that when you make the answers a little bit harder to answer at first in terms of like the sequence of orders, people would just give up immediately because it just took too long. It's not worth it to go through the rest of the quiz, because what if the rest of the quiz is also like that? So if you put the questions that takes a little bit more time to process towards the end, they go through this sunk cost fallacy of, oh, I answered 4 questions already, I might as well just answer this. And so we switched this out. So instead of saying, when do you wear falsies, and this had like a 25% drop off rate, 12-second answer time, and we moved it towards the end, and now has a 3% drop off rate and has almost half of the answer time. We saw how long are your natural lashes had a very low drop off rate, pretty short answer time, and moved it up top. We reduced the drop off rate now for the first question by half, and we reduced, the average answer time to about 4 seconds. And so that's one thing that I want to highlight, because we recently made that change. Like, we made that change 4 weeks ago, and we have never changed the sequence of our quiz questions for, I think, 2 years. So if it's one thing to take away, take a look at these data very closely and like split test that, because I wish we did that earlier. We could have collected so much more data if we didn't make so many people drop off.
Yeah, that's awesome. It looks like maybe you should try switching that second question now for the first question, which is like, what is your preferred style?
I like that.
That one is like getting what, like 2% drop off versus like the 12% or something. I would say that would make sense as like a future test.
Yeah, of course.
Because what's awesome is like, that's awesome that you did that, because you were able to just go in Octane, see what the analytics were, and then kind of like make those changes. It'd be cool if in the future we could figure out a way to automatically do something like that, like automatically start to reorder to figure out what the best like converting order of questions would be.
Yeah.
Product team is here. We will look into that.
That's your new feature. Oops. I just got you a new product feature.
Yeah, there we go. We'll call it the Jason feature inside the product. You want to turn the Jason feature on or not? Okay, question. So, I don't know how many people who are watching actually like have a quiz already or not. I imagine a bunch do, but maybe some don't. How should brands who don't have Octane yet, how should they be thinking about that? Like, should everybody have an Octane AI quiz?
Yeah, I mean, if you have a store that, if it wasn't in DTC and it's in retail, like it could be a retail store and there's a store clerk and the store clerk answer common questions, then you should have a quiz to replicate that, even if you only have 1 employee. I know we use the example of walking into Sephora and a store associate comes up to you, and that's in beauty because I'm in beauty. But like, if you look into like other stuff, like let's just say food and beverages, if you're making a low calorie snack, you can still have a quiz asking them about their lifestyle, asking them, what do you like, savory, or do you like sweet? Do you like things that are crunchy, or do you like things that are soft? There's so many questions that you can ask that relates to how people pick the final product on your site. Now, of course, if you have like one single product on your site, it's definitely a lot harder for you to create a quiz that's product recommendation based, but you should still have it, because at the end of the day, your goal is to collect data on your customers in order to help you create better products down the line. If you have one SKU right now, you want to create a quiz that's more driven towards future of like, hey, I know that there's only one product on our site. Answer these questions. We'll give you a surprise towards the end. Give them a little discount just to give you that data, because that data will be so helpful for you to expand your SKU. But like 4 or 5 questions to ask them, what are you looking forward to? Like, what's your lifestyle? How do you use this product? And you can kind of infer what kind of products will complement the one single SKU that you have on your store. And so, my advice to everyone is I think quiz is very, very necessary, even if you don't think you need a quiz, because there's always questions that you can always ask your customers to better figure out something to help your business, whether that is helping you craft your buyer persona. Maybe you don't really know if you have product market fit yet. Use that quiz to figure out if the people that you're bringing to your site are actually the right people you're marketing to, or maybe they're giving you answers to help you figure out that there is a better audience segment for you to go after. Maybe your product, you thought it's going for the mid-20s women, but actually moms love your product. And so you will only really find these out through quizzes. And that doesn't really necessarily pertain to a product recommendation, but you should still ask those questions because it helps you.
Yeah, so I think like if the most important thing you can be doing as a business owner is talking to your customers. And if you're not talking to your customers, you're just making assumptions on what is going on. And especially if a lot of people are going to your store, the likelihood, like the chances that your assumptions are wrong in a couple places in some really big ways is basically guaranteed. So just for the pure fact of talking to customers and getting to know them, you should do it. For all the data, get 3x what you get on pop-ups, you should do it. And yeah, for like if you have one product, like a good example I think of is like, if you have one product, it's not about a quiz that recommends what product to get. It can be more about a quiz which recommends the reason that will kind of best match up with that customer of why this product is right for them. Like if you're selling teeth whitener, if that's the only product that you sell, one of your questions could be like, do you drink coffee, or do you drink wine, or like, do you smoke, or like whatever it is. And then if someone says they drink coffee, then you're always going to recommend teeth whitener. But now you can empathize with them that, oh, I know you drink coffee. Other people who drink coffee like use our teeth whitener. This is like a really great product, for you, and you can personalize it based on that. And also, if you're working on a quiz and you're using Octane and you need any help, just like make sure to message the support team. If you ever go look at our Shopify reviews, every review is basically just praising the amazing support team at Octane. So if anyone is, out there watching this and wants some, feedback or help, definitely just go ping the chat on Octane and you'll get help super, super quick. Yes. Looks like, yeah, Jason, I think this is probably it. I don't know if you have anything else you want to add. Thank you for coming on and showing us your ads. I can't wait to see what this new agency does with if they can figure out the quiz ads for you. And if you need any help from us, or you want to go brainstorm any other things we're seeing on the TikTok side, definitely let us know. Any final thoughts for everybody out there? I mean, I know the economy is also like in a crazy situation. Any like last minute economical recommendations for people?
Well, I think it's definitely tough times for everyone in e-commerce right now, without a doubt. Make sure you take care of yourself. Your revenue or your ROAS is not you, so don't tie your entire mood or your entire day around how the numbers go, because numbers will look down. You will not grow the same rate that you're growing last year or the year before. And the truth is that's the same for everyone else. I've talked to people who are doing $1 million a year, $50 million a year, and $100 million a year. It's all the same for everyone else. It's just during these times, the discretionary spending, it's definitely a lot more restricted. And so people are just going out and buy, 10 pairs of lashes anymore, so that's okay. Make sure that you watch your cash flow. Cash flow is very important. and make sure you watch after yourself and your team members. That's really all I gotta say.
Great advice, Jason. Thank you for coming. We're gonna go cut this up into a bunch of little video clips, and we'll make sure to share that with everybody, and we'll put it on social, and we'll all go retweet it. So Jason, have a great rest of your day. Can't wait to see what crazy technology you add to Doe next.
Thank you. Peace out. Bye.
Cool. Later, Jason.